Well, when I look at this, it says that the weed prevention, water retention, prevention, like, it seems like the things that I put on there earlier that I was saying that didn't apply, it seems like maybe they applied. Well, like I saw it, like it threw down some seeds or whatever, and turn off. Oh, my lamp. Ugh, I just feel so wore out. I wanna... I gotta go to the corner store here and get some food. And increase my focus so that I get XP when I do resource mining. So earlier I was talking, I think today almost, that I have a whole bunch of supplements. Well, I was showing my doctor all the different supplements. Her first response was, well, you know, I want you to not take any of those, because we need to figure out where you are baseline. You know, because apparently supplements can cause dizziness, disorientation, you know, diarrhea, like all these things, right? And so it's like, all right, that's fine. You know, I'll give it a shot. You know, I'll cut back, and like there's a couple of things I want to keep taking. Mainly I want to give the stuff that Jonah Health said for me to do a shot. This it here? Yeah. $350, huh? This stuff is expensive. Let me get one of those and two of those. Skadooch. It's time to do some resource gathering. Like, I'm growing some carrots for this guy here. Because he's giving them to everybody and they're feeding them to the horses and stuff, and so he's giving the carrots to feed Buttercup or something, the horse, to the people that come. So he's running out of carrots. Oh, check it out. I wonder if, like, if I... So, moving the mouse after you open the map does not affect your ability to move. Did I create any more arrows? No. I'm hungry. Why isn't it picking it up? Oh, it's F. For some reason I was hitting E. Alright, I'm gonna go grab my pita sandwich I had for lunch. I could only eat half of it, so I'm gonna go get it and I'm gonna eat the other half of it. So, I ended up getting a veggie pita with, tzatziki sauce. It's like a cucumber sauce. It's actually pretty good. Got feta on it with some vegetables and grilled chicken inside. It's not bad. Is that the dragonfly that the one person wanted? Where did it go? Maybe. It's a dragonfly, but I don't know if it's the dragonfly she wanted. Where'd he go? Aw, look at how tiny it is. Whoops. Oh, geez. I thought that for sure I hit it square on. Hard to tell with the, like, the fishing rod in the way. One second. Oh, good. I thought I bit into the aluminum foil. Maybe I did. Did I bite any of it off? I'm pretty terrified of, like... That's interesting. So if you leave it in there, it'll keep plucking away. Excuse me. Well, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that I didn't have to worry about pulling my fishing rod out. That it would just start the process all over again. I'm going to take a second here and just eat so I don't have to think about eating and fishing at the same time. So my doctor wants to put me on an antidepressant medication. With all these medical issues and just the way my life has gone in general, apparently I'm pretty screwed up in the head. If you ever want to hear some of the crazy stories, just let me know. I can tell you some of them. They're pretty insane, from my perspective. Ended up getting mad at my mom today. You know, but I think the reality is, when parents open their mouths to their kids are seemingly immediately, you know, because the parent comes from a position of authority, it's real easy to take what they say wrong. Like an example, I took my son takes this medication because of his medical issues. He forgot to take it before he went to work. And based on the way that it interacts with his body, he needs it when he's exerting energy. So I took it up to him, and his response was, "Jesus Christ!" with a scoffing look on his face, like he was pissed off that I even bothered him. I don't know. Being a parent to a 20-year-old person is completely ungratifying. You know what I mean? They take everything negatively, even when you're trying to just, inquire about their lives. And completely, like, it seems like, I'm gonna say completely, but, they definitely border on ungrateful. And I really don't understand. Because I'm not trying to trigger him. I'm trying to look out for him because I love him, and I don't want him to get sick. I don't want him to suffer, but apparently that's not my job. My job is just to stand by and watch him live his life. I don't know. I would say to anybody, live your life and, don't put no expectation on anything you do. Like, absolutely nothing. Because if you have an expectation of something or how you think it's going to go or this magical dream that you have of your life, the world and the universe has a way of throwing wrenches in every good plan. And if you're not careful, or in my case, make questionable decisions, it's life can get pretty painful, and the decisions you make can definitely affect you for the rest of your life, right? So when you make decisions that could potentially affect the rest of your life, take a long time to think about it. Don't let anybody rush you. Make sure it's what you want. And, even if it's somebody that you care about's waiting on an answer, it's just like, I don't know what to tell you. You got to give me time, because if I make a rash decision, it could be bad for me, it could be bad for you, it could be bad for everybody. So, let's not push me into anything and let me figure it out. But I just feel bad for him. I don't want to see him get hurt. It seems like that's the only thing I can do these days. All I get to do is just kind of watch the world go by and watch my family go by. It's like, I don't really understand life. I really don't know what it's all about. Seems like sometimes it's a cruel joke. And other times it doesn't feel like that way, but most of the time it does, because I'm so sick all the time. My doctor, I get why she wants to take me all the medication off, you know what I mean? Or all the supplements, because, they do have side effects. And, it's like, yeah, they're not regulated in the respect of, like, a traditional medicine. And they're not as tested, like, in the respect that, like, I wouldn't say tested, but, like, yeah, well, probably tested, because a lot of medications are tested. More extensively than say supplements. And the reality is apparently supplement makers can drop whatever they want in the bottle and call it good. Call it whatever, someone's looking for, and unless a third-party person, or a person tests with a third-party person, you're never going to know what's in those supplements. But there's a thing called GMP certification. In GMP certification, there's like a third-party testing, company that says, well, this supplement is and has what you expect to have in it, right? Now, as to the quality of the item, that's uncertain, right? Like, I don't know that the GMP tests quality, but excuse me, I'm sorry. Oh, jeez. What I wouldn't give just to be healthy again, man. Life sucks when you're sick. You know, sometimes you wonder if it's even worth it. There was a movie that I watched called Altered Carbon. It's not a movie, it's like more like a series. And Altered Carbon was really good. I liked it. I liked the premise. I liked the dynamic of the first season. It was really good. You know, and essentially what it means is they had something called a stack that was installed in your spinal column, you know, as a child. And it would record your consciousness on this stack. It was like a little, like, I don't know, like, looked like a disc. And, if you were killed, you know, bodies in the show became what they called sleeves. You know, they were temporary. So effectively, like, they had figured out how to live forever, really. Excuse me. Is that iron? Probably. So anyways, they I don't know, I mean, it just seemed interesting that your consciousness could be downloaded and you could have multiple bodies over the course of your lifetime, if not indefinite. Because they were saying that there was some kind of an issue, like if, and they call it re-sleeving. So when you get a new body, it's called sleeving, and when you'd re-sleeve, if you didn't use the same body you were born in, apparently there was some type of a psychosis that would come around. Oops. So ultimately, like if you were super rich, you could have clones made of your body, and effectively you could live, you know, indefinitely. I don't know that I'd want to live indefinitely. I think in a lot of ways I've had enough of what this life can bring. But in a lot of ways I want to see and do and be everything, right? I just wonder how that's possible when your mental gets so screwed up because of everything. We don't do enough to protect the mental status of the children in this world, and really subsequently adults, you know, but whatever. It is what it is, and it's all it can be, and it's all it'll ever be is all it can be, so I don't know. So I've been thinking I might end up switching my stream over to a what would be considered an adult stream. Mainly because the content that I talk about is more adult and it's more deep, and it's sometimes it's sad and it's depressing and whatnot. But so I figured that might be a better, like, because, you know, the last thing I'd want to do is, unfortunately, affect a child or a kid, you know what I mean? Because I don't play the most adult games sometimes, so I don't want to influence somebody that's impressionable in a negative way, you know? So, like, at least to put the I guess, the wall up to say, hey, look, you know, if you come in here, it's at your own risk, right? In fact, maybe I should do that now. If I do that now, my bit rate's going to drop, so I'll wait until after. Or my bitrate will become unstable, I should say. Oh my gosh, man. My stomach. Chest is aching. What the? I don't really know what to do with all these materials because I'm mining, you know, because I don't really, I don't know, like, I have a hard time progressing in games because I don't really find, like, I guess there's cool things you can do. Like, this game, I think, is capturing my, my imagination more than most games. You know, because you can... They seem to have ties into reality, right? Like wild garlic, wild onions, wild ginger, you know, things like that. Oh, speaking of ginger, maybe I'll make myself some ginger tea. You know, because they have ties into reality, it makes the game seem a bit more realistic. And, you know, in my opinion, inviting, because you're not learning new things. Oh, yeah, get the flippy flammer. You know what I mean? To do the wiggy jiggy to the some of the call out. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, you're like, what? It's like, I don't even know what you're trying to say, let alone, like, I don't want to learn a second language just to play a game. You know, and it seems like out there today there's this really strong desire by game makers to make everything as hard as effing possible. You know, it's like a game can't be enjoyable unless it's hard. And I don't agree with that mentality. I think that gaming community is missing the mark now. You know, as far as I'm concerned, all the combat and all the first-person shooters and all the blah blah blahs is, you know, it's all overdone. But then again, I'm also like nearly 50 and I've spent probably 30 or 40 years playing games. So I've seen it all, done it all like 100,000 times. You know what I mean? It's just, this is probably one of the more unique games. I mean, it's still kind of, it's resting itself in the survival mode with exploration and entertainment. Like, so it's like, with a strong sense of like, just, hey, let's chill out and relax and have fun. Oh, I'm so close. I'm not even using my worms? No wonder I'm not getting anything good. I went too far. Oh, no, I'm right in the middle. So, I don't know. It's a really hard thing when your body fails and the doctors don't seem to have an answer. And then when you go to take medications that they give you, it's like you end up with not only the problem that you originally started with, but now you got all the side effects from the medication. Like, as an example, I took some antacids, famotidine and pantoprazole together by the recommendation of my doctor. And at the time, and my head started spinning like I'd been drinking way too much, and it just stayed that way for 4 months. Like every day, day in and day out. It was the worst time in my life. Plus, I was sick. Plus, you know, it's like you're just... Life was a living nightmare. And to a lot of degree, it still is. But I got my worms good. I got my worms going. Kind of wish, like, I don't know, maybe they... I want to say they probably don't have boats. Because if they had boats, people would be out in the water fishing. I would think. Or maybe boats come later. Wouldn't that be nice? I would really, 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 really like a boat, man. I could easily see myself just sitting out in the lake, fishing, you know, and then move from fishing hole to fishing hole while I'm in the lake. That would be cool. That would be cool. I would enjoy that. So the dude over here at the farm, I don't know. He wanted spice sprouts the other day. I wonder if I could give him spice sprouts. Well, he wanted something else today that I couldn't give him. So I think the reality is you got to talk to everybody every day and then grab all the like things that they want so you can build your relationship so you can do newer things. I kind of like the fact that like in the once you reach certain levels with everybody, you can do different things. Unlock this quest, unlock that quest, unlock this quest. So it's like it looks like it's a lot more of just cosmetic stuff, but what do I know, right? Like I haven't played the game. This is like my first week in the game. I'd have to say it's kind of capturing me more than I thought it would, mainly because of the chill aspect of the game. Like I'm naturally wound too tight because of all my medical issues, and then apparently I don't know how to let things go or something. Take everything too personally, and voila, you know, mental psychosis and, you know, depression and everything else. Doesn't help that, like, you know, when I was growing up, like, shit was just completely stupid, off the wall, dumb, and crazy, and, like, definitely not orientated towards me and making sure that I had a good upbringing. That's for fucking sure. Whoops. Guess I'm a little premature. Yeah, I have this this messed up, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I personally like think that if you love somebody, you'll change for them, right? Because, you know, the thing is though is they have to love you in the same way. They have to love you in the same way. So as an example, like if you get into a relationship with somebody and you're willing to change for them, and the reason you change is because like you just want to make them happy, right? Who cares? Like, and if it doesn't bug you or hurt you to change, you know, like, as an example, like, oh, make sure you call me before, you know what I mean? Like, you come home from work because I want to check with you and see if there's anything you need to pick up from the store or whatever. I mean, just being a good human and good to the people that you profess to love. And, I believe that change is something that you should do for somebody that you love and they love you. But the problem with that is when you change and the other person doesn't want to change, and they're just, you know, they don't love you the same way, it makes your life a lot more difficult. Especially if you're already tied up in a situation where you can't move away from that person, or, you know what I mean? Like, just end the relationship, really. Like, I did that recently. I had a friend. Whoa, my God, stop wiggling, you freak. Come on, you're gonna break my rod. Ah, gotcha. Freshwater eel, baby! So, I had a friend of like 30 years. Easily. I would say at least 30 years. And, the relationship seemed more about what, you know, because the reality is I made the relationship more about what they wanted. You know, so anything they wanted to do, I was down for, because it doesn't really matter to me. Like, when I hang out with somebody, what do I care what if I'm doing? You know what I mean? The whole point that I'm hanging out with that person is because I want to be with them. And, so I don't really care what I'm doing, really. Just so long as we're socializing, we're trying to have a good time, and we're communicating, or we're just, you know, like, it's good all around, right? Like, so what? So what if I'm doing something that I don't really care too much about? At least I get to spend time with the person I want to be around. But apparently, that's not how it works. Because I did that for them, but they were just dead set about not creating time for me. You know, not making, you know, an effort, in my opinion, to open their lives so that I can be a part of it. Oh, hey, you think we can hang out today or do something? I don't know about that. I got all these other things I got to do. So after about 30 years of that shit, you know what I mean? I finally just said, you know what? Fuck it. You're done. I don't want to do this with you anymore. Can I jump down there and climb up that and get the chest before it's too late? Probably not. No, you can't climb that. And it's so deep that you can't even... Can I run off of it? That's the question. Can I run and like jump and get further out? I'm not jumping quick enough. Kind of about the same, but I jumped from the spot that maybe wasn't the best. I get the feeling like maybe I could hit the broken spot, but this log is in the way. It's probably put there for a reason. Yeah, it's good. I don't think I'm going to make that jump, even though I want to. I could maybe get over there, and then jump down to there, and fish from there to get that, but what's the point in that? You know, and the reality is I didn't even bother telling the person that I didn't really want them in my lives anymore. I just walked away. Unfriended them, took them off all of my profiles and everything. Like, I was just like, you know what, I'm not interested in even socializing. But the thing is, we barely communicated anyway. It was like once every 3 months. You know, after a while, it was like, there's just no point. You know, and it's like, I didn't feel like I was loved in that relationship. I felt more like I was a burden to the other person, and they didn't want to create time and space for me in my life. So, if that's the case, and you don't have the balls to tell me that you really don't want to hang out anymore, I mean, you know, I'll do it for you. But I'm sure that in a lot of ways I brought it on myself anyway. You know, I wasn't really good at communicating, and unfortunately, you know, I had so many problems in my life that I'm sure that I'm the one that soured the relationship anyway. You know, I mean, who wants to listen to somebody complain all the time? Which, question mark, why is anybody watching me? Because it's like, I don't have anything to talk about, right? Like, the only thing I got to talk about is me and what's going on in my life, and I have so few interests anymore because of all the medical issues. It's just like life seems pretty dull. Mostly unenjoyable. You know, if anything, I'd like to be a beacon of wisdom and say, hey, don't be like me, because it's no fun. It would be nice to make better choices somehow, some way, and end up in a position or a place where I feel like my life is more about what I want, but I'm slowly coming to the conclusion that life isn't about what I want. It's not even about what I deserve. And the likelihood of me finding or getting the life that I want is coming very close to, like, never happening. And that's very disheartening to me, because I'm not afraid to work for what I want. But now with my body not working the way I need it to, it's like I can't even work for what I want with consistency, right? Like, and whatnot. Like, I mean, I can do it, but it's like it breaks me for a while, and then I got to take a break and go back to it, and then take a break and go back to it, which I guess is pretty much anything you do in life, really. But I've always been somebody who's become consumed by what they do. I have a hard time, like, I'm an all-in or nothing kind of guy. And that's always been difficult for me to, like, oh, well, let's just do a little bit, you know, like the spice of life kind of stuff, you know, in moderation. I've struggled with moderation, but I have an addictive personality. I'm pretty sure it was because of the way that I was raised. Or not raised. So if you're wondering what that statement means, I'm sure you probably know what it means, but my mom wasn't around much when I was a child. She's like, well, you know, because I was bitching at her about that today. She's like, well, I was around more than you thought I was. I'm like, no, you weren't. You weren't there because if you were there, I wouldn't be having these feelings. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be like this. I wouldn't be complaining to you that like you weren't there and that you kind of fuck things up. You know, and now she wants to be in my life and wants to give me all her opinions and control factors, and it's like, I don't know. I mean, I want to be a good son and listen and do what she wants and, you know, just try to take to heart what she says, because obviously she has wisdom. She's nearly 74 or something. So she has wisdom to give, and it would be a shame for that wisdom to be lost because I couldn't hear it, you know? Because I'm being whatever I am, you know, so I'm doing my best just to open my heart and my mind and let her kind of fill me up with whatever it is that she wants to share, because if I live long enough, she won't be here, and that'll be a whole new mess that I'll have to figure out how to deal with. My wife's parents died, and she unraveled at the seams, and she hasn't come back to me yet. Just seems like everything that could have went wrong in my life did. Wow, that's a really sad realization to come to. I have to come to the conclusion that I'll probably be alone most of my life. If not the rest of my life, unless something special happens with streaming. But come on, let's be real. I don't have any faith in the streaming concept. I think I'm just doing this more for entertainment to myself, to give me playing video games a little more meaning. You know, and, you know, sometimes it's comforting to watch my streams when they're done. And it's not like I'm getting over-flooded with people that want to chat with me. I mean, I was mildly, I wouldn't say successful, but I was mildly introduced to what it could be like to have a streaming community. I ran a different stream, and it was okay. Can't say that I enjoyed it a lot, mainly because I was too focused on how do I grow my stream and community, because it's like, here's the thing, it seems like fun when you watch people stream, right? You're like, oh, this is amazing, this is cool, I like this, you know, look at the community that they got there. What you don't see is it took them like probably 6.5 to 7 years to get that community, right? You know, and I tried for 3, and I got up to about 250, you know, friends, I guess you can call it that. Followers. I don't like the follower thing. I think it's a stupid thing to call somebody, but got up to about 250. You know, and you look at a lot of the streamers out there, and they've been streaming for so long, they have like 18,000 followers, but they only have like 5 people watching them. It's like, how the fuck does that happen? You know? So, the reality is that I could be doing this till I'm 70, and I'm probably never going to go anywhere, right? Because it's like, I don't consider myself somebody that has an electric personality, right? Like I'm too weighed down by the shit that's happened in my life. But I'm an open book. Like, I'll talk to anybody with just about anything, you know, and I don't really care. I'm not like particular. I'm not malicious. I'm not hurtful. I'm not reductive, the best that I can be. You know what I mean? Like, I treat people the way I feel like I want to be treated, but the problem is the fuckers out there can't treat me the way that I treat them. So it's like, okay, well, whatever. You know, you give it your best, you know what I mean? But, you know, I get tired of getting hurt, so it's like, why have friends? You know, if people can't, you know, care about me the way I care about them. You know, and then you get jaded and you're like, well, I don't want people around me. But then, you know, because, you know, you're a social creature and you need relationships to even like function properly. And the thing is, I don't even know if you need like deep relationships to function well. You know what I mean? Like, here's an example. I became very introverted through all the trials and tribulations that have occurred in my life. And I'm not kidding you, they are numerous and they are intense. I'll give you a sneak peek under the hood of one of the trials that I've gone through. At the age of 23, I watched my newborn, well, not newborn, but roughly a son that lived almost 5 months die in my arms. He drowned on his own fluids because his heart couldn't pump the fluid out of his heart or his lungs, and he drowned right in front of me. And it broke me for at least 10 years. I like went into a hole. I couldn't even function. I mean, that's not to say I didn't go out and go to work and bitch about the same things and, you know, and live life, but I would have rather died with him than live without him. And it's unfortunate that that didn't happen, because I think everybody's life, you know, around me would have probably been better off without me. And but I'm here, so the point that I was trying to make is that when I was running my business, I had it's mildly successful. Like, it was almost $100,000 a year business. It had the potential to balloon out for me to become a millionaire. But anyways, when I was running the business, I do a lot of what was considered networking, where you go out, you socialize with people, you know, and you learn, like, and it happened in a time in my life where I didn't have a lot of self-confidence, I guess. I don't got any more self-confidence now, but the reality is like, you can become comfortable in situations if you're exposed to them enough. And so I would go out 7:30 in the morning and be like, yeah, my name is so-and-so, and I run this business, and we're looking for blah, blah, blah. And then you get after the meeting, you would sit there and talk to people. There'd be like 15, 20 people. And I did that, and I was so intense with it that I became consumed by it, just like with everything else. Like I told you, I'm an all-in or nothing kind of guy. Like, I don't do anything halfway. But the problem is when you're like that, and you can't give yourself any breathing room, you're going to burn yourself out. And you may even develop health issues and everything else. So I would suggest, if you want to preserve your life going forward, you know, be like an 80-20 kind of person. You know what I mean? Make something about 80% great, you know, rather than looking for that 100%, because that last 10, 20% is going to fuck you up. And you may not notice it at first, and you may never get that gratification because you may never finish what you're focusing on. So, but if you finish at 80%, you'll hit your mark, you'll feel good about yourself, and then you can twiddle with the last 20 if you want. But I would say, you know, it's probably better to let it go. You know, be less, you know, what do you call it? Maybe not take things so personally. Like, for me, unfortunately, based on the way my life ballooned out, I take things personally. Like, when people are like, I don't know, when they're inconsiderate of me or my feelings in any way, I take it highly personal. I'll get in front of your face, I'll tell you about it. I may not be a dick, but I'll tell you about it. You know, and if you fail to, like, react in what I would think to be an appropriate manner, you're out. No, but you can't do that with everybody, though. Like, you know, you need some people in your life that are constants. So it's behooving to you to, like, keep somebody in your life that, you know what I mean, knows you. And maybe even somebody that grew up with you that knows you. Because there's something to be said for growing up in the same environment, you know, and having those young, early relationships. They're important. All of my early friends are gone now. Oop, I think I might have a bathroom break. I'll be back. Well, that's weird. I don't know what to think. What am I supposed to do now? Go ahead. Man, I'm so disappointed at how hot it is in here. Unbearable. It's hot outside. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't think you and I are experiencing the temperature the same way. Oh, God, I hate this dizziness, man. It happened yesterday after I took some probiotics, and now it's just not shaking. It's probably because the probiotics innervated somewhere in my body that wasn't good for me, and my body's reacting poorly to it. Maybe it was something that was so, like, impactful that just messing me over, man. It's so bad. It's scaring the crap out of me. It's just scaring the crap out of me. It's getting really bad right now. Yeah, I go through these night terrors when my wife goes to bed. You know, when you have a lot of medical issues, it's not hard to think that, you know, I'm going to get smoked off the planet at some point soon. And that fear, it grips you at night. I don't know. Maybe the psychologist, or maybe the doctor's right. Maybe I should take the antidepressant medication. Maybe these feelings will just go away and never come back. Medically induced happy. Am I out of worms? Yeah, what herbs would that be? Because it's like I've tried pretty much all of them. Yeah, valerian root's really hard on my system. I don't know what the essences are, but... Okay. Well, I thought you needed to go to the bathroom.
My nose and wash my hands.
Oh, alright, well then I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. I can stand up and yours goes away.
Uh,
I'm back. Not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm here. I don't know. I guess it would be nice to have friends, but I don't know what it's like to have a friend, a real friend. Right? Like, somebody who doesn't judge me for who I am, somebody who doesn't try to change or control who I am, somebody that I could pretty much say whatever I want to. I mean, without being mean or hurtful to them, per se. You know what I mean? But just in general, I could speak about my life and I'm not, like, dismissed. I'm not, like, disbelieved or, you know what I mean? That I'm taken at my word because I'm speaking truth. Like, I don't try to lie. I'm not a liar. Now, I'm not to say I don't typically lie. Like, it's just not something that I don't have any use for lying on average. So it's like I think I might lie like once every 6 months or some stupid shit. Um, the difference to that is though is when I was growing up, my mom spent a lot of time ignoring me, and the only way to get her attention and have her to focus on me is if my fire was worse than her fire, which is really fucking shitty because it shouldn't have to be that way. But it was, and I remember this one time when I was a kid, I was holding a steak knife to my belly, had it pointed in, man. I had that sucker gripped with that firm grip, pointed in, and I was like, look, if you don't stop me, I'm gonna stab myself because you're not paying enough attention to me. I was probably about 5 years old, maybe 7, possibly 8 tops. And because the thing is, when you're a child of an alcoholic, it becomes real difficult. Life isn't all grand, and the only thing I got to worry about is the fact that Janie down the street didn't like my hairdo. You know what I mean? I'm fucking like it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm out riding my bike at every fucking bar around the neighborhood, trying to figure out where the fuck my mom is, so that I don't have to be afraid and I can go to bed. You know what I mean? It's just like, what the fuck? But my mom's like, well, you gotta, your past doesn't, affect your future and this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, I don't really think you know what you're talking about there, honestly. Because it's like my personality and who I am was developed and wrapped around these experiences of abandonment, you know what I mean, that you created because you were too, unfortunately, hooked on alcohol. So because of that, it put me into a situation where I basically got screwed on a regular basis, and I didn't have anybody around. My dad didn't even think that I was his for like 2 years after, like when I was 2 years old. It's like, I don't even know if that kid's mine. You know what I mean? Like the prick he was, It's just like, okay, thanks, Dad. Thanks for being around, bro, and helping me out. But no, from what I've learned about him, it's probably better that he was gone. It's just too bad he didn't stay gone. Because when I was under his care, I broke my chest, I broke my fucking neck. He put me in a leg lock that, like, basically turned me into pain itself. I'm pretty sure a fair chunk of my digestive issues are because of him. I even almost could find the causal link between my rare digestive disease and him because of the leg lock he put me in. Because it wasn't some like, oh, well, it's a nice little leg lock. It was like he was fucking trying to choke my ass out, and I was only like 13 years old. He was using all of his strength. I felt my organs underneath my solar plexus and up in my liver and in that upper right quadrant underneath the rib cage. It was all feeling like it was about to rip open and explode inside my abdomen. And I was just, and I was tightening my abdomen, and I was like, "Rrr," and I would try to keep him from penetrating into my soft tissue underneath my solar plexus and my ribs and stuff. And it didn't matter, man. He was just so strong. He pushed through all of it, and I just had to let go. I had to stop fighting and just go. I couldn't breathe. I was getting to the point where I was going, like I was going to black out. And, and this from somebody that says they love me. It's like you got a fucked up sense of love, man. You know, so it's like, how can you learn to trust people when the people that you love are so consistently and flippantly inconsiderate of what you need and what's going on in your life? You know what I mean? Especially at the tender ages between 2 years old and like 18 to 25 years old. Because you don't typically grow up. I mean, you might think you're growing up at 21, but you're really not. You know what I mean? You might be able to drink, but you're not growing up. You know, you haven't experienced enough. And it's not to say that you're not a responsible person. You just haven't experienced enough of life to know what it's really about. Usually. Now, that's not to say that people that don't have, you know, like people can grow up quicker and on average. But I'm just talking about the average individual. I'm not talking about, you know, people that are the exception to the rule. But I don't know. In general, I think I'm a good person. I respect and I appreciate my personal sense of morality. But I tell you what, man, I'm really not happy with the religion of Christianity and how it fucks people up, really. I mean, you know, it messes people up. It is not a good thing. That religion should never have been created. But whatever. You know what I mean? There's a lot of religions like it. It's just a shame that it's so popular. You know, and the reality is, I mean, if you want to talk about religion, I'll throw down some smackdown, and you know, you guys can really see what's behind the veil. You know, like, I mean, the only religion I know is Christianity. I've walked away from everything else. You know, I can argue the logistics of it pretty well. Unable to connect. Try again. Well, that's delicious. Why can't I go home? There we go. Oh, it's busy right now. We're at 18 people. What do I do with that information? Just keep trying. Feel like I'm going to go through now? Look, and if you believe in that stuff, I'm happy for you. You know, good for you, because, you know, life is really crazy. But for me, all it did is make things worse. It screwed up my morality system. It messed up my personal sense of self-esteem. It depleted my sense of value, and it robbed me of my ability to make my own choices without feeling like I'm influenced by some all-knowing deity that's going to fuck my life up royally because I didn't do the right thing. What they don't tell you about is that, or what you may have to dig out of the Bible, is the story of Job. And how he, you know, God was like, hey, you know, why don't you test my servant Job, while Satan's around trying to mess with as many people as he can mess with. And, you know, God offered up Job to Satan. It's like, really? Really? The man that believes in you, the man that has dedicated his life to you, the man that loves you, the man that, you know, like, just gave everything up, so to speak, to believe in you and focus on you and give you all of this, give himself to you. And you're like, hey, why don't you kick his ass for a while? Take away his kids, take away his wife, take away his farm, take away his family, take away everything. Just get rid of it all. You know, make him sick, go through all kinds of, you know, health issues. And then, you know, when he's done, you know what I mean? Just to test his will and his consistency towards believing in God. God doesn't deserve our love. He doesn't. He's not a good person. He can't even hold himself to the basic standards of humanity. You know, and it kind of becomes this story of might makes right. Wow, that's a lot of fish money, man. Nice. Did I get like a rare one or something? Uncommon. Just wish this nausea would go away. It's so intense. Oh, I was going to drink some ginger. I'm going to go make some ginger. And, you know, I would try not to take what I say personally. You know what I mean? Unless you find value in it. But, excuse me. I've grown up and I'm pretty jaded about the way things have gone. But when you don't have the support system to make solid choices, you know, when you're younger, you can't make the right choices. So maybe you could. I mean, if you know what I mean, if you were smart enough or maybe emotionally, you know, mature enough. But I would say, you know, the tender age of 5 through, I don't know, 18, I really didn't have a lot of like, I had more freedom living with my mom before I moved over to my dad's house. But that dude took away everything, man. He took away my whole personality. You know, he introduced me to God and just took the rest of it away. It's like, ah, man, I love and hate that man. But it seems like sometimes it's more hate than love. Because I think I would have been better off if I never met him. But what's done is done. I have no control over that. You know, so now I'm just trying to develop at least a cordial relationship with him. You know? I mean, but it's like, after somebody puts you through all that, and then on top of that, they physically hurt you, and it becomes a potential that the reason that you're partially, I mean, part of the reason you're sick, probably not the whole reason. At least I don't think. I mean, unless my rare digestive disease, if it came from him, and it's the reason why I've kind of gotten to this position in my life. But I don't know. Like, I mean, I wasn't always this way, so it was like I was sick. I wasn't sick like this until like about, I don't know, 6 years ago when it really happened. And I was probably sick for about 5 or so years or 7 years prior to that. Like, I didn't know it. All I knew was my belly was really bloated like a balloon, and I didn't understand why, but it wasn't hurting, so I didn't think too much of it, so I just kept living my life. And then 6 years ago, my whole life stopped. And I'm trying to figure out how to rebuild it, but it's been extremely challenging because the body is the body, and it's too dynamic, and I think it's poorly designed. The human body was poorly designed, and I mean, if God created the human body, then he did a shitty job. He really did. He didn't think about everything. I mean, if you just even look at all the deformations, or what do they call that? It's a deformation. I forget what it's like. All the issues with people, like small people. I'm sure that they don't necessarily want to be small, you know, or little people. They're kind of stuck with it. The people that, you know, don't have an arm, or, you know, maybe they, you know, I don't know. I mean, you know what I'm trying to get at it. You know, it's just like, but whatever. I don't know. I'm a little too down in the mouth right now because it's like the more I talk about it, the more I start feeling and reliving the feelings. You know, and it's hard to be in that scenario where you're reliving those feelings, and then, oh, hey, by the way, you're feeling a bunch of terror that, you know what I mean, you're not feeling good. You feel like you're sick, and you feel like you're gonna die soon or whatever, and it's just like, I don't know, it's a little too much. It's just a little too much, and I feel unappreciated by just about everybody in my life. I'm angry about it because the way that I look for love and appreciation is that if I need something from you, you help me out because I was there for you. It's like, fuck it, if you don't want to do it, I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't care if you don't want to do it. That doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? I gave you love, you give love back. If you can't do that, then fuck off. The problem is I have people in my life right now that can't give me the love I need, and they hurt me pretty extremely on a regular basis without even realizing it. But I'm so used to just being abused that I don't even know what I would do with a life of my own. I would want one. I do want one where I'm by myself and I don't have anybody to mess with me and just make things worse all the time. And then somehow I have to compensate for them. That's fun. Oh, I feel so bad. You know, it's like you wonder if being a big streamer is all it's cracked up to be. Like I remember watching this one streamer, and the dude was like, "Yeah, we're friends," and he's like, "You're not my friend. You know, you just watch me play video games." Because the reality is you get, you know, personally vested to a degree into the people you watch stream because, you know, they're real people and, you know, you start to care about them a little bit. Even if they don't see it, you know what I mean? Me, I have the unfortunate experience of caring about everybody, you know? And I think my sense of respect and morality towards other people is what gets me into trouble a lot of the time. Because I have a hard time rationalizing when I'm good to somebody and they're not the same way back to me. You know, I start taking it real personal. And like I was getting mad at my mom. Like I told you, I got into a fight with my mom today, and it's because over the last few weeks, it's like every time she come over, man, confrontational, wants to butt heads, and you know, and I don't know, nitpick, right? Like when you're sick, when you're truly sick, um, you don't have the energy for everything in your life, right? Like you have to prioritize what's important. My mom wants me to prioritize looking like a reasonable human being, and sometimes I can't do that, right? Like shave my face, shave my head, you know what I mean? Clean up my eyebrows, you know? I mean, but I mean, I take baths every day, you know, so I'm not like I'm a slob or anything, but I don't go out of my way to fix all of my grooming because I'm worried about what somebody else is going to think about me when I'm out in the world. And I just don't do that. It's just, I don't give a shit what anybody else thinks about me out in the world. You know, I used to for a really, really long time until I realized it doesn't really matter. One of these times I'm going to make myself the ginger tea. One thing I hate about my disease is like my memory is just completely trashed, and my short-term memory is gone too. It's like, I mean, it's not that I don't remember things. It's just that recall is really hard. Like I don't remember things, and then when I try to remember things, you know, it's like it takes a long time. You know, sometimes I don't remember it at all, or you know what I mean. I'll randomly be thinking about something, just like that. I don't even remember what I was thinking about. Right now, though, I just wish the nausea and dizziness would go away. It's a little too much for me. It's ruining my life right now. Really making it unhappy. So I sit here and I talk to you to try and distract myself from the complete misery that I'm going through. And sometimes it helps. And I say sometimes. Sometimes it feels like a burden, but I don't know what else to do with myself right now. It's not like I have anything pressing in my life to do. And beyond that, I don't really have the energy to do anything else. God, I really don't want to take medication, but I don't know. Maybe I should take this stuff. Maybe if I had less days like today, it would be okay. Well, I don't, you know, I don't know what a wiggly glowworm does for me. Come here. I don't know. Would I have liked to have had a better upbringing? Sure. You know what I mean? And a lot of people are like, well, you know, my past made me the person I am today, and I'm sitting here going like, I don't like where I'm at. I'm not happy with where I'm at, and I'm pretty angry about it. So it's not like, you know, my past really did anything for me. If anything, it held me back from being able to do more of what I would have liked to have done. So with my son, I pretty much pulled my hands off. I mean, I used to bitch at him about stuff, but you know, I pretty much just pulled my hands off the wheel and I let him drive his own boat. You know what I mean? Because it's like, you know, I never tried to control how many friends he had, who his friends were. Never tried to control anything about him for the most part, except for like, basic stuff, like, manners and, things like that on average, nothing really. I tried to let him decide for him what he wanted. I never pushed religion on him. I never forced him into any pigeonholes, but I don't even think he appreciates what I did. He doesn't realize that the mental freedom he currently has is because of what I've done for him. He'd rather get angry with me for the fact that I tried to take his medicine to him today and piss in my cereal, and instead of saying, "Thank you, Dad. I'm really grateful that you looked out for me and that I really didn't want to go through another genetic episode, and I appreciate you." Instead, it's like a Jesus Christ. It's like, fucking A, man. It's like I start wondering why. Why bothering to do anything? Yeah, okay, here we go. Teach you how to make a new sawmill. Probably to make that heart planks. Let's go. I don't know. Here we go. Cool. That was easy enough. I hope somebody can learn from my experiences and, take away from it and just go, look, I don't want to fucking be that guy. And then walk away and live a better life. If anybody took that kind of information away from anything I say, then I would be grateful. Because I'm not a bad person. I'm a decent person with a good sense of morality, I believe, and I treat people well. Fuck it, I treat them too well. Let's just put it that way. I probably treat most people better than they deserve. Yeah, that sounds right. I treat just about every better than they deserve. But most of the people in my life deserve is a fucking swift kick in the ass. But I've already done all that shit, and it doesn't really make anything any better. So I got to change. I want to try and become more lighthearted, and just really hard. Really hard when you got a lot of medical issues and you're constantly feeling like a dog pile. I don't even know where I'm going. I'm supposed to go to this guy. I'm just wandering. I don't even know what the hell I'm thinking anymore. Well, I guess the blessing is one day I'll be gone and I won't have to think about any of this shit anymore. Worry and wonder and we're like, oh, it has happened. I was thinking about death, I don't know if it was today or yesterday or whatever, but it was one of those things where, what's with the extra floating fishing rod?
What can I do for you?
And I was wondering if it was kind of like, once you die, you wake up and it's like you're in like some type of container where like you were in this tube and you were in your consciousness was placed in this body and you're just kind of like you forget that you were in the tube and like kind of like the Matrix in the battery, the human battery. You're like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? But you come out and you're just like, huh, this is weird. You remember everything and you're not corporeal, but you know what I mean? You are kind of a being of your own. I think I can handle with anything that death throws at me so long as I remember who I am. You know what I mean? So long as I retain me, then I can probably deal with anything.
What can I do?
Because I don't believe in hell. I think that doesn't exist. I think that's just a construct that humanity has made up because, you know what I mean? We want people that, do good to get rewarded after everything's done and over with in this life, and we want people that do bad to be punished for theirs. but I don't think it works that way. Oh, the hardwood plank. Gosh, man. So close. I got like 200 I need to get.
Take care.
Take care. Well, I'm going to go ahead back to my plot, and I'm going to make me some more worms. Return is unavailable for 11... What? I didn't know that that was a thing. All right, no big deal. I'll run. So they give you one free, you know, quick trip back to the base, and then after that, you're on your own. I really like eye candy. Like, oh, I like seeing eye candy. I just wish that I was willing to put up with the difficulties of creating eye candy so that I can produce my own eye candy, right? But I'm what they would call a perfectionist. So I think that eye candy would be really difficult for me to create because I wouldn't be able to come up with a finished product because I'd be too busy messing with it forever. And then I'd become disgruntled and pissed off and, you know, fed up and exhausted and blah, blah, blah. Nowadays, my interests are so fleeting, I don't think I could stick with anything long enough to learn anything of any real value. The only thing that I seem to remember is anything medical. And it's only because of how shitty things are for me. So, just as a word to note, the reason I decided to drink some ginger tea is because it's supposed to be good for anti-inflammatory, for the digestive system. Just don't drink too much because you can get diarrhea from it. Like maybe 1 or 2 cups a day. 1 to maybe 2 cups at a top end. And also it helps with acid reflux. The way that it helps with acid reflux is there's what's called a lower esophageal sphincter. That holds, it's like a muscle that holds your stomach closed at the top of your stomach so that acid doesn't flux back up and mess up your life. So if you drink the ginger tea, it's called protokinetic herb, where it tones the lower esophageal sphincter muscle. It tones it, okay? And it makes it stronger because it stimulates it to close. And, you know, you do that enough, it's eventually going to work out and get stronger and just work. Which is, I think, somewhat self-evident. Like, I might actually be in some ways healing because I went to my doctor today and she was saying something about what's called a barium swallow study. And I went through a barium swallow study and she said, well, we had no indication of acid reflux or anything. Whereas I went, in the past, I had mild acid reflux. That's not to say that I don't have acid reflux moments. It's just not all the time. Right? If I do a trigger food or whatever, like coffee or anything, then I get acid reflux. So apparently, strong acids or fat are some of my triggers. Something with strong acid would be like vinegar, you know, so like apple cider vinegar or pickles, you know, things like that. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Kind of lost. Kind of getting tired of doing anything, really. It's like the more I work, the less I want to work. You know, I don't know. It's just, I'm always tired. That's the problem. Foy iron bars, ceramic. I don't even know how to get ceramic, so I probably need a kiln. Maybe you get ceramic from a glass furnace. Heartwood planks, yep. So I need to buy the heartwood planks, so then what? Can I make heartwood planks? This heavy sawmiller finds wood into planks at a higher speed than basic sawmills. Oh, I kind of get it. So it just allows me to go faster. The thing is the guy that I got the stuff from, Azuru or something his name was, he had the heartwood plank recipe. So I do have to say they have like their some of their items I would think to be with the wrong vendor, and I would imagine they were just placed there as a placeholder and they just didn't get dealt with. You know what I mean? Yeah, because we're still in the beta stage of this game, so like everything I do in this game is going to go away anyway upon release. But the reality is maybe I'll enjoy it enough to where I'll want to do it over again. Harvest. Oh, so the soil amendment is actually still there. It's stuck around. Nice. Maybe the watering soil amendment actually keeps the plant growing faster because you have to keep watering it. I don't know. But I'm getting pretty wore out, and I think I've complained in your ear enough. At least, maybe it's not complaining. I would say more I'm just sharing, you know, emphatically, you know, the story of my life, right? And what else do I got to do? I would just like for people to learn from my experiences in some way, but it's not like I can force anybody to learn, because it seems like every time I share my experiences with the people around me, the only person I think that, you know, and wasn't my biggest fan growing up was my dad's wife. You know, she whenever I talk, you know, about pretty much anything related to my medical issues or anything, you know, she's, oddly enough, she's supportive. And in the way that it feels supportive is she feels intrigued, actively engaged with talking to me. Probably because she doesn't talk to me but once every couple of months. And or more, once every 6 months. You know, so she has a genuine interest in understanding what's going on with me because she doesn't talk to me all that often. You know, and she's interested in, you know, learning a little bit of the information that I've gathered over the years, because it's like I've studied digestive issues and shit for nearly 6 years now. Fucking A, if I was going to school, I'd have myself a bachelor's degree by now. Oh, speaking of which, let's go ahead and let's change this stream setting before I forget. Because I don't think the stuff I talk about is really safe for kids. You know, it'll just jade them up the wrong way, and I don't have the mental fortitude to be like, you know, don't listen to me. And I mean, you know, the reality is, I don't know if it's not a listen to me. Maybe it's take what I say to heart, but don't let what I say change you negatively. That's all I'm trying to say. Because it isn't meant to do that. I'm sharing my experiences so that you could go, well, I definitely don't want to be like him. And then you can move on and, you know why I'm like this, so that you can do your best not to be like me. Because I think that's a lot an honorable goal. Stop banned users from viewing your stream private. Well, why the hell wouldn't that be turned on anyway? Like, why would I want them to watch my live broadcast? You know, if you're gonna, like, if I ban you, you shouldn't have the access to even look at me. Which, you're not really looking at me anyway, but, you know, shouldn't be able to see my avatar. I get the feeling like, yeah, I don't see a problem with that, creating a clip. I'd like people to create clips. Exclusive category. When categories are added, clips will not be created while streaming in these categories. What the hell does that have to... Followers only. When enabled, followers must follow... Wait. Followers must follow you for the specific amount of time before they are allowed to make clips of your channel. I don't think that means anything. It's like, well, who cares? So, okay, this is a pretty stupid thing. Like, up here, they're like, oh, hey, you know, you want to enable clips? But BTW, you know, you can go ahead and upload those clips if you want, even if they're not enabled. Oh, okay. It added a whole new panel, so I guess that wasn't... When you invite someone to stream on your channel, we'll send them a new stream key and instructions. You know, for all I know, the reason that I'm feeling so dizzy and messed up is because I had onions and garlic lately. Those two things together mess me up. But as my Jonah Health says, I should try to get used to them. I don't know where it is, folks. I can't find it. Maybe it's under Stream Manager, you think? Edit stream info. Content, select the labels. I don't really understand this. Is this like, hey, we talk about this stuff, or this stuff we shouldn't talk about? Oh god, I feel like I'm gonna upchuck. This fucking blows. Viewers, I don't know, reruns. It's like, it's not a rerun. It's not branded content. It's not here, so I don't think it's in this area. I don't know. Okay, be safe. Yeah, I don't get it. I guess I'll have to look for it later. I don't understand. Anyways, if you take anything away from what I've said today, you know, let it be this. Take care of your body, please. Take care of your body. Look after yourself. You're the most valuable thing in your world. And when you sacrifice that, even for things that you enjoy, it will come back to you and it will hurt. And you may end up being in a situation like me where it hurts ungodly almost every day. And all you want it to do is end. Sometimes not in the best ways possible. Please be safe out there. People are getting pretty uptight